talking to constitutional law professor, Attorney John Molo of the UP College of Law. Welcome back to StoryCon, Professor Molo.
Hi, Professor.
Hi.
Hi, sir.
Hi, Ma'am Amy, Ed, and Reg. Good to be back.
Good to have you back. There's so much to unpack as far as the impeachment goes. Let's begin with the last day, day 6, which was yesterday. I'm sure you were monitoring it to a certain extent. They were debating the motion to subpoena the financial records of the vice president. The defense was arguing that it's against due process, that yes,
Overly broad.
it's overly. In fact, the exact terms that Attorney Michael Poa used were fatally overbroad, meaning why are they asking for documents as far back as 2007 when she was not yet an impeachable officer? On the prosecution side, of course, you have Attorney Chel Diokno saying that the Constitution gives the impeachment court the broad power to determine accountability, and nothing, he says, can limit the court's power to subpoena and try this case. Where do you fall in between those two arguments?
Well, it's a perfectly, first of all, parang it was a fresh approach yesterday from the more tedious,
Nagising ka.
Mas civilized
a
ba?
bit more tedious previous hearings. Ano? So I side with the presiding officer's observation that it was a welcome approach yesterday.
Kasi mas civilized.
Not so much as civilized, but more of kasi parang nagkakaroon
meaty.
ng wrong impression tuloy yung mga taong bayan, na yung mga abogado is really just very overly aggressive towards each other, when in reality, there are different litigation styles naman talaga sa bansa natin na kanya-kanyang style yan. So, magandang na-present ni Congressman Chel at saka ni Attorney Poa kahapon yung ibang style na ginagamit din ng litigators. Hindi naman lahat kasi parang rah, ganun. Yeah. Yeah, but to their arguments, I think both provided a good overview of what the law says. So on balance, I'm gonna be interested in how the Senate really decides on this point, because historically in all of our impeachment trials, the Senate has never really backed down from issuing subpoenas. Ano lang ang pinag-uusapan lang dito yung pag-issue ng subpoena pa lang. So sa pag-issue ng subpoena, hindi naman nagba-back down ng Senate dyan historically talaga.
May point ba si Attorney Poa when he said it's fatally overbroad because they're asking for the records dating back almost 20 years. Dapat ang tinitingnan lang. And related to that it has become a fishing expedition because they accused first and now are looking for evidence.
Well, if you look at the pleadings of both sides, medyo I know what their argument is seeking to question, which is the reasonableness of the subpoena request. So technically kasi, maaring in-anticipate nila na hindi naman pwedeng walang i-grant na subpoena ang Senado kasi impeachment trial to. Pero they're fighting it on the level of detail, meaning gaano ka-broad yung i-issue na subpoena ng Senado. So maaring doon sila nakatutok na kumbaga, okay, pwede nating limitahan yung scope. That's why they're focusing on that. Yung words kasi na fishing expedition, ano yan galing yan sa Stonehill versus Jokno talaga na kaso. No? Medyo matagal ng kaso to. Kung naalala nyo pa kung sino si Harry Stonehill, you just dated yourself.
Hindi.
Oh my gosh. Uy, John, you're younger
Yes.
Hindi
Ed?
namin kilala.
Hindi niyo kilala.
Alam mo si Harry
ano
Stonehill,
yun?
Kilala mo si Harry Stonehill.
father ni Chel Diokno yung nag-prosecute sa
Okay.
kanya.
Okay, so
That was
Justice
actually
Minister.
kung sino aamin sa mga host. So,
Ako, hindi ko kilala.
si Ed umamin. Si Ma'am Amy hindi.
So Ed,
Hindi ko kilala yan.
so Ed,
Hindi ko siya kilala
Contact na ako,
personally.
pero hindi ko
pero
kilala yan.
alam niyo yung kaso.
Hindi ko kilala personally.
Pero, but you know the case.
Yeah.
Yes, tinuturo kasi yan sa law school talaga, the Stonehill versus Jokno case. Yan yung nagkaroon ng very large corruption case involved. It's American who claimed to have everyone under his thumb. Hanggang presidente daw, kaya niya. So ngayon, yes, tama, Jokno din, the more famous Jokno, who is of course related, if not the lolo ni Congressman
Lolo.
Chel,
And
yung
father,
nag-prosecute
sir, the
ng kaso. Father ba? Father. Ayan, hindi ko din kilala kasi. So, father. So, yung nag-prosecute ng kaso. Tapos, long story short, umabot sa Supreme Court yung mga abogado ni Harry Stonehill were claiming na invalid daw yung mga inisyo ng mga warrant kasi they were too broad and everything. Therefore, they are what it amounted to a fishing expedition. Fishing expedition kasi parang tinapon mo lang yung warrant mo or yung request mo for subpoena and then bahala na kung sinong madagit. Kaya yung phrase na fishing expedition. Now, ever since that case was decided, more or less, standard defense naman talaga yan ng mga akusado or for people who want to resist any motion for subpoena or even a warrant of arrest, search warrant. It's a fishing expedition. So, nothing surprising there naman. Standard naman na defense talaga yan.
Si Harry Stonehill was a GI, a former army soldier assigned to the Philippines, stayed behind after the war, had all these connections already ongoing, and then became a smuggler of sorts. And that was why he was prosecuted by Jose Wright Diokno. But before the prosecution, sir, tell me if I remember right, before the prosecution could conclude, he was deported.
He was deported, yes.
And that's why why did we let the big fish get away? There was that question
Talagang
about.
you dated yourself, no?
Hindi, kwento lang ni Ami.
Pero, Professor, hindi ba medyo matagal nga naman yung 20 years? Kasi we're supposed to compare lang naman, di ba? Kung magkano yung nadagdag sa kayamanan mo when you took office, saka before you joined the government. Theoretically, yung the year before na nag-file ka ng income tax return mo, pwede na yun, di ba? It will suffice bago ka pumasok ng gobyerno. Which in the case of Sara Duterte was when she became vice mayor yata yun.
Yes.
Yung medyo matagal nga yung 20 years. Di ba? Ano tingin mo?
If you put it in that context, Amy, yes, oo. But I think one of the allegations kasi sa articles of impeachment ng prosecution is precisely accumulated wealth over the years. Ngayon, ang magiging tanong dyan is when you say accumulated wealth over the years, how far back nga ba would be reasonable so that we can establish a baseline na alin dito ang legitimate wealth niya, alin dito ang nag-accumulate over the years na sobrang unexplained or presumably ill-gotten.
Pero ang covered lang yan is when you became a government official.
That's why they're citing that defense. Actually, what they're really relying on is yung decision ng Supreme Court last year, yung Duterte versus House of Representatives. So since 'di ba maraming sinabi yung Supreme Court in that decision, including the fact na dapat the inquiry should be really limited only on this time period, cannot go beyond that. That's why it's perfectly fine for the defense to say these things
Yes.
because galing naman sa Supreme Court yan doon sa Duterte versus House of Representatives.
Pero sir, very basic question. In an impeachment trial, do you seek to prove or disprove whether an official is fit to serve in public office for actions that he committed while he is an impeachable official or for actions he committed while he is in government service?
Yan. Oh, okay. So, yung fitness kasi, if we're talking about fitness, medyo yan, ibang remedy usually yan. Sinatawag natin yung co-warranto. Yung ginamit yan kay
Sereno.
Justice Sereno.
Sereno.
Yun, di ba? Sa impeachment kasi, ang tinatanong, have you committed acts that would violate any of the standards in the Constitution that it would serve the public better for you to be removed in office. So medyo mas broad, hindi lang fitness, pero yung time period kasi na yan, it really falls within the discretion of an impeachment court or the Senate. Kasi nga, deliberate ang impeachment to be really broader because it was given not to a court. I mean, the framers of the Constitution from which we copied it from, the United States framers, could have given it to their Supreme Court, but they chose to give it to politicians who would be allies of a president. for example, di ba? So it's designed to be broad because the Senate is precisely made up of politicians and they're not really expected to view it as a criminal trial. So kaya nga parang there's a lot of observations na medyo nasosobrang na-judicialize samantalang yung pinaka-basic intent ng isang impeachment is really to a certain accountability and to get to the truth of something. It's inquisitorial rather than an adversarial proceeding kasi.
Yes, sir. Sir, I asked that kasi if I recall correctly, yung hearing ng Justice Committee where AMLAC was invited, ang nilabas ng data ng AMLAC based on the bank transactions of VP and the husband, yung malalaking transactions talaga, mga 500, 600 million per year, were in a period between 2011 at 2012 and to 2014. And the succeeding years, hindi na ganun kalaki yung transaction amounts. So that's why I was asking the question: should they be looking at the time when she became vice president, when she becomes impeachable, or would it include other times when she was, for example, mayor and vice mayor? Kasi if you compare nga the two eras, malaki ang tumaas doon sa panahon na hindi siya impeachable.
To add to that, the cumulative transactions from 2007 to 2013, so that's a period of 6 years, exceeded 3 billion pesos. So that's the figure that they keep dropping at these hearings. Bakit lumagpas ng 3 billion? That's from 2007 to 2013, according to AMLAC.
Okay. So yung theory talaga ni is cumulative. Kaya medyo pinapakita nila yung buong picture kung saan nang galing to. Ngayon, maybe para lang ma-mesh together yung dalawang tanong ninyo along with a little bit explanation kung ano talaga nangyari para sa taong bayan na nanonood. Let's just go back a bit. Ang nangyari kasi dito, ang impeachment court, para yung bagong panganak na sanggol. In terms of evidence, in terms of records, tabula rasa yan. So in order for you to ask the impeachment judges to either convict or acquit, kailangan magbigay ka ng mga datos, ebidensya. Since tabula rasa, walang laman yan, how do you get that? Whether it's bank records, video, or everything, you have to put it, as we lawyers call it, into evidence. So, paano mo gagawin yun? Kung hindi naman voluntary dadating yung witness or yung bank record or yung ITR or whatever, you have to ask for a subpoena. So, nandun tayo sa stage na yun na yung prosecution is asking for a subpoena so that they can enter certain documents into the record. Kasi kung wala, hindi siya nasa universe ng mga bagay na pwedeng i-consider ng isang impeachment court. Kaya para may marami din nagtanong sa akin, yung video na panood naman nating lahat, bakit kailangan pang i-present? Kasi nga, yung impeachment court, yung Senado, when it was constituted as an impeachment court, start from scratch. Kailangan mapasok mo yung video doon.
Yeah.
Ganun nangyayari. So it's the same approach for these records. So it's really we're that stage of trying to populate the universe of reference documents for the Senate.
Pero sir, yung tanong ko, sir.
Meron pang isang observation, no? Kasi
Did I answer your
ino-oppose ng
question? Ed,
defense.
sorry.
Sorry, but my question was about that Yung nga, I get it na I suppose they want to look at a pattern and see if there were significant movements. But what if the significant movements happened during the time when she was not yet impeachable? She may have been a government official, but she was not yet impeachable. Yung nga, ang reference point, for example, nung panahon
we discussed that already ng mga co-faculty ko nga Pero para maganda yung sagot ng isang co-faculty in terms of the history of impeachments, And yung analogy nga is precisely, what if you have candidates, because impeachable officers, most of them are candidates except the Supreme Court. But then again, it can apply to Supreme Court justices. The reason you're broad is because precisely, especially for a president, let's talk about the president. What if you have a candidate for president who was funded by an antagonistic state who determined that the best way to get what it wants from the Philippines is to prop up a candidate? So will they do it only when that candidate wins as president. No, they will do that over a long period because that's how you create Manchurian candidates to begin with, right? So it's that kind of inquiry that an impeachment really looks at. It's broad. It's not really, okay, may ginawa ka bang masama habang nandiyan ka na o wala? So it's like that eh. Medyo, that's why yung theory din ng prosecution is kind of more of really cumulative yung approach. They're trying to project a pattern. But the defense
So,
has
ang
every
ultimate
ground
objective.
to object to that on the ground of reasonableness.
So ang ultimate objective talaga is to, apart from conviction, to prevent the official from serving again in public office. Kasi you're unfit to hold public office.
Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about, for example, a Manchurian candidate or someone na suportado ng some other state na may adverse interest sa Pilipinas, then you don't want that person to remain in office and get back in office again. 'Di ba? Parang naalis go na nga tayo, 'di ba? May mga ganun.
Meron pang isang observation kasi malakas yung opposition ng defense to the inclusion of the husband of the vice president dun sa pagbubukas ng bank records, yung mga tax records. Eh sabi naman ng iba, di ba actually meron nga silang palusot dyan kapag kasama yung sa asawa mo. He can always say na income ko yan eh. Di naman yung income ng asawa ko.
Hindi lang 'yon,
Anong tingin mo naman
privilege. Actually,
ano naman
okay
doon?
yun kasi marital privilege. Well,
Yeah.
to begin with, the law says that the spouse and other dependents are covered in these inquiries. So, whether you're looking at RA 3019, kasi, I mean, hindi naman tanga yung nag-design ng batas. Alam naman yung mga nagsulat ng batas na more often than not, just to avoid a corrupt official, would really just put it in the name of the son, the daughter, or the In
So,
fact,
yeah.
we've had several Supreme Court decisions where yung kay Garcia, yung kay Rabusa, Colonel Rabusa, ganyan ang mga ginawa, tinago sa mga asawa, anak. But our courts are not deterred by that. So, I'm not too bothered about that portion because medyo malinaw naman yun. Baka ang mas ginagamit ng defense in this respect would be the personal privacy of a spouse with respect to his tax record siguro. Baka yun, baka meron pang mas doon. They might have a stronger there.
Pero bakit stronger yun eh? Usually pati joint naman yung joint yung
Well,
filing ng
I
tax
have no
records.
idea if joint nila final ang ITR nila. But if it's separate kasi, di ba? Then, sa ITR kasi, weirdly enough, our National Internal Revenue Code makes it really difficult to get copies of that by making it criminal for any BIR officer to release the record. So, ayun, baka doon sila But again, it's up for the Senate's appreciation.
But in short, the Senate has no excuse not to also subpoena the records of Manscarpio under RA 3019. Is that what you're saying?
I mean, sa akin, medyo, I don't think the Senate is a wise body. It's not gonna say no to a mere subpoena request. It's gonna define the reasonableness of that subpoena by limiting the scope. So, especially if the charge is graft and corruption, and then unexplained wealth, medyo kaya nga sabi ko, historically, the previous courts, impeachment courts have treated this as, nagulat nga ako may oral arguments pa, di ba? Pero para, sige, kanya-kanyang discarded naman yan as a court. But ginagawa naman kasi talaga yan, kasi kung ang charge mo is unexplained wealth, kasama na yung pagsubpoena ng documents. Kasi nga, i-enter nyo into record. Ngayon, what documents will be included in a subpoena, that's called, you're defining the reasonableness. Gaano ka far back? 2011 lang ba o hanggang 2007? Bahala na yung Senate dyan. Sila na magde-define yan.
Sir, nabanggit nyo rin yung tax records. Well, I'm not sure if I understood this correctly from yesterday, pero I remember hearing one of the lawyers say na under the Internal Revenue Code, I think it was Section 71, there are two people who can order the release of tax records. One is, of course, the filer voluntarily saying na yes, you can make it public. And the other one is the president.
Yeah,
President.
the president.
Yeah.
So I was wondering kung if well, sa bagay, we're supposed to have separation of powers. If they really wanted to look into the tax records of Sa Duterte and Mans Carpio, all it would take is for the president to issue an order. But yun nga, then again nga, we have the separation of powers. But realistically speaking,
Well,
it could have been done.
again, this goes back to process. Okay? Just to clarify, kasi medyo nakikita ko din yan online. The reality is, since nga the Senate as a court needs to populate its data room, kumbaga, nitong mga records na to, ang proper procedure naman kasi talaga dyan is mag-request ka ng subpoena. Since nag-request na yung prosecution, pag na-issue yung subpoena, yung BIR commissioner is the one who will request the president for permission. Nung panahon
Bakit may
ni
subpoena?
Corona, ganun ang ginawa ng BIR. Subpoena issued and then the BIR asked permission from tinanong si Commissioner Henares in court doon na meron ka bang authority from the president. Sabi niya nung na-receive ko yung subpoena, I asked the president for authority, kaya ko dala-dala ngayon yung records. So, ayun, otherwise magiging chicken and egg, di ba? Yung chicken and egg. But kumbaga, ito yung proseso kasi. So, para ma-trigger yung process na yon, sasabihin naman, the president has every right to say na, bakit ako magbibigay ng authority? Wala namang nagre-request ng record.
What are-
So,
So,
i-request
kailangan
nyo.
talaga ng permit ng presidente.
Kailangan. Ang tanong lang, sino mauna, di ba? I-request ba muna o hindi? So, yun kumbaga, it's a process. So, sa akin nga, this might seem to the public
Well,
medyo contentious, but it's the process.
What are the odds President Marcos will say no?
It also made me wonder what were the odds that somebody from the administration, whether the House or the Senate, wouldn't have thought of asking the president to early on, just committee pa lang, to issue an order for the release of the records.
Kasi baka in-anticipate nila sa Senate impeachment court na lang kunin. Ang magandang analogy dito, yung sagot ni NBI, not agent, not director din. I
Si
mean,
Lotok.
Si Loto,
Si
di ba?
Loto.
Sinabi siya, ba't hindi mo
Loto.
kaagad sagutin yung criminal case mo? Sabi niya, wala pa naman ako nare-receive eh. Wala pa akong sasagutin. So the president can adopt the same stance. There's no request for the BIR record yet. Why am I gonna start issuing authorities, di ba? I don't even know how much records they need. Is it gonna be this year, last year, 10 years back, 5 years back? So, hingin nyo muna. Pag hiningi niyo sa BIR, tapos yung BIR naman asks me, okay, I will say yes. So, para sa akin kasi, gano'n naman yung nangyari sa previous impeachments. So, let's just let the process play out.
Yes, sir. Sir, I understand, sir. It is a process, and we have to go through the process. I was just wondering, from a practical point of view,
Nagmamadali lang niya si Ed.
Oo nga.
Hindi, kasi
Sorry kasi
Ang
hindi
bagal
ako
daw
political
kasi.
scientist eh. So hindi ko siya pwede pangunahan.
For
Yung-
2
alam ko
months,
yung
for 2 months,
pinupunto ni Ed, pero
people were
I'm just a
arguing
lawyer.
over, ano kaya laman ng green box na yan? Napakamahiwaga, di ba?
Ito na nga yung second envelope ng impeachment trial na to. We're gonna argue and then in the end, wala palang
Wala palang
laman.
laman.
But
yeah, but that's the third element of every impeachment trial, the performative element,
Yeah,
di ba?
yeah.
The
Yeah.
legal, the political, and this is the one that you're showing on screen. That's the performative element of an impeachment trial. That's part of the game, kumbaga. The drama.
Pero hindi ba reasonable naman yon? Kasi they are asking for the tax records to compare with the SALN. And
Yeah,
under the law,
it's-
yung SALN, kailangan joint yun eh. Unless dalawa kayong public official. Eh, hindi naman public official si Mans, so we're presuming na joint ang pinafile ni Vice President. Kasama yung wealth ng asawa niya at mga anak. So you have to
Yeah.
compare the tax records of the husband.
Yeah, because
So
I
reasonable
believe
naman yung request, di ba?
it would be reasonable with respect to the articles kasi. The articles include both misdeclaration and unexplained wealth. Misdeclaration, you look at the SALN. If there's something that was not declared there, then you go the Corona path. Okay. They also added unexplained wealth. Unexplained wealth, you establish a baseline. What is the declared income? To find out the declared income, you look at what was filed in
Tax
the
record.
BIR.
Yeah.
So, yun naman yun. So parang kumbaga it's just it's in terms of connection nandun naman kasi yung articles of impeachment parang complaint yan na final. Kung yung complaint mo, wala naman doon yung hinihingi mo, then unreasonable yung request na yan. Irrelevant yan. Pero kung nandun naman, may ano naman. Kaya nga para sa akin, the subpoena would likely be issued, but the scope will have to be defined. Depende na kung gaano ka narrow. Oo.
What did you...
Professor?
Oh, go ahead, Ami.
No, nung the first time, yung last interview namin sa inyo, sabi niyo, both sides have lost the narrative eh. Medyo nag-push back dyan si Terry Ridon. Sabi niya, hindi naman daw. Ngayon, after the 6th day, 2 weeks into the impeachment trial, nakabalik na ba yung narrative? Nakabalik na ba kahit papano?
Well, it's early days. Kumbaga
Yeah.
parang ano pa lang, simula pa lang. Hindi pa nga natin alam kung sino yung main characters with respect to this trial. Although
Oh.
may mga emerging, hindi pa natin define, di ba? So it's early days, but I think lang as a citizen, importante din kasi na mapakita ng Senado dito na we can do this in a more expeditious manner.
Yeah.
We vehemently agree because last week
We have to sit through it.
we have to sit through it,
I'm sorry for all three of you.
and there was a 3 days last week wherein 4
Yeah.
days wherein we are debating the definition of grave threat, the difference between
And
a threat
warning.
and a warning, and whether a threat needs to be consummated before it can be considered a threat, and all of these things.
No,
And
a
whether the
grave
video
threat
is
a
authentic
threat.
or not.
If you have to do it, then it becomes a different crime.
Yeah,
Murder na yun.
exactly.
I mean, I'm sorry, I must have missed that part. Pero a threat is a threat. If you commit the
Kaya
crime, then
kami-
it's a different crime. It becomes murder.
Pinagparusa namin.
But sir,
Professor.
that was a major
We
part
have
of
to
their
listen to
argument.
this argument.
Iba na yun.
Sabi ni Ami, even the lawyers that she knows have started tuning out. So,
Ayaw na talaga sinabi sa amin, ayaw na namin. Di
we-
ba si Coco Pimentel told us yesterday, tinigilan na daw niyang panonood. Hindi na siya makasagot maayos kasi hindi na daw niya sinundan.
Kasi baka mababa yung grade niya eh. Sa bar.
wait, top notcher yun.
We bar top notcher
I know.
si
Kaya nga.
I know, sir. We were joking about it yesterday.
Dahil nga dito sa tanungan na to.
That was an
Pero may
unfortunate
nakita ka ba
comment.
kahit man lang konting improvement? May
Oh
nakita
yeah.
ka na improvement,
Yeah.
Professor?
Meron naman. I would say nga, yung first part, medyo nasobrahan. Kasi parang,
Yeah.
this is a completely new generation watching. Right?
Yeah.
You have not just siguro millennials pababa, nanonood sila. So that's why I'm very conscious na mapakita ng Senado na to this younger generation who will form the bulk of voters come 2028. Sana
Yeah.
mapakita ng Senado na, okay, we can do this, we can squeeze the truth in this inquisitorial proceeding from all parties without putting everyone off by all of these legalities. I mean, I'm a lawyer. I geek out whenever I see these conversations about objections, balikan. But I'm very self-aware na hindi naman lahat nag-e-enjoy dyan. Di ba, 100 million Filipinos potentially nanonood. Ba't naman tayo maglalagay ng isang proseso dyan para mapanood taong bayan na will only cater to us lawyers?
Pati nga yung lawyer, ayaw naman Professor.
Ganun ba? Pati lawyers ayaw naman.
How would you rate Senator Escudero's performance as presiding officer? And I wonder if you also think at this point, I mean, initially there was some objection to his being presiding officer, but now I feel people are starting to see, oh, maybe you do need a lawyer. What do you think?
Yeah, well, the question of whether or not you need a lawyer, I think, is already in the Supreme Court. So the court will deal with that. But so far, if you set aside the first few days wherein the lawyers from both sides naman, to be fair, really over-legalized the entire thing. So far, there's nothing that would lead me to think that he's not capable of handling the trial. Kasi, kumbaga, mabilis siya mag-rule ng objection, on the fly, kaya mag-reform ng question. So, parang, It really matters na yung presiding officer mo ganun kabilis kasi pag medyo nagiging litigious na masyado, napapakita niya naman na kaya niyang i-rein in both sides. Ang tanong na lang, sana moving forward, talagang i-rein in niya na. I-rein in niya
Yeah.
na. Oo.
Yan ang tatanong ko kasi kahapon, medyo hirap siya kapag merong political, may political issue involved. Kapareho kahapon, napunta tayo doon kay Matibag eh. We spent 30 minutes discussing the so-called intimidation of Matibag, by Matibag of the Cayetanos through the planned probe of the New Clark City Sports Complex. Ayun, sabi ng iba, ano bang connection yan dun sa Although, pwede mo nga namang i-link, pero kung mga gano'n na medyo political issue na, pwede bang mag-interject yung presiding officer? Pwede ba?
Yeah.
Sa press conference na lang yan or
Yeah.
pag-usapan natin or whatever?
I think the presiding officer right now is just being generous with his colleagues and giving them time. But maybe as the days go by, he will be more strict because again, I would agree with you. What does that have to do with this trial, right? Why are you using this podium to talk for 30 minutes about something that has nothing to do with the trial? Pwede niyang gawin yan kasi under the rules, he really controls the proceedings. Kaya nga, at least, ang takeaway to Regis' point, nakita natin na he has the capacity. Now, is he going to use it to make the entire process more efficient? We hope so. We hope so.
Kung sabihin niya, 2 minutes lang kayo.
So definitely,
30
that would
minutes
really,
yun eh.
that would really help
Inurasan ko yun,
everyone.
30 minutes
Hanggang
eh.
2 minutes.
Although technically 2 minutes lang naman talaga ang mga manifestation, right? I feel you can cut a little bit from
Hindi,
the
yung
number.
sa magkapatid na Cayetano kahapon, beyond 2 minutes yun.
Okay.
Kasi una si Robin Hood Padilla, tapos sumunod yung magkapatid, it was beyond 2 minutes, kaya nag-thank you nga din naman sila kay Cheese na pinagbigyan sila.
Nagagalit
Na talagang
na si
medyo
Ann.
mahaba siya.
I think he imposes the time limit when senator judges interact with the witness,
With the
or with
witness.
the
The witness.
With
Pero
the
yung
witness.
sa ganyan na manifestation,
Okay.
Kasi in the end, they're also senator judges. Kumbaga,
Yan na nga,
the
yan na
presiding
nga.
officer is the first among equals, but otherwise they're all equals.
yun, yung sa manifestation ng senator judges, pwede ba iksiyan yun? I mean, someone can talk there for about an hour. Ano pa magagawa nila kung political
That's
ano
what
yun?
happened to us during the time of Miriam Defensor, Corona trial, di ba? So,
Oh.
doon sumikat si Vitaliano Aguirre for ganyan.
Yeah, yeah, I remember that.
So I guess every impeachment trial has
May
their
sisikat din dito.
oo, di ba? Main characters. So
Sisikat ka o kaasarang ka ng mundo.
yeah, di ba? Parang
But he went on to
this
become
is a
Risk
stage.
you have to take, ha?
Oo.
He went on to become Justice Secretary.
Yeah, okay, di ba? Who knows, right?
But but
At ngayon, wanted siya.
but attorney, considering we keep coming back to the fact that again, this is not a criminal court of law, and you don't have to prove guilt beyond reasonable doubt. The threshold is lower. You're just at the end of the day asking, is this person fit to hold the office that they are holding? Where should we draw the line in terms of the interrogations, the cross-examinations, the manifestations from the senator judges? Meron ba yun? Do you have an idea of where we could draw the line to make it more expeditious?
Yeah, I mean, let's start with the mindset, okay? This is impeachment. The only thing that will happen at the end of the day, no one will go to jail because that's a criminal trial. No one will pay damages because that's a civil trial. The impeachment will really just result in someone losing their job. Anong klaseng tanong
Yeah.
yun? That's no different from what every HR officer in the country
Oo nga.
encounters every day. So it's the HR proceeding for the entire government. Ganun lang naman yun eh.
That's a
So
good way
let's
of
put
looking
that
at
in
it.
the context.
Oh, that's a really good way of putting it.
All right?
It's
And
just
not
an
being able
HR.
to return to the job.
Yeah.
To work.
Kasi nga, tinatanong, di ba, nagnakaw ka ba talaga? Pag tinanong ka ng HR, nagnakaw ka ba talaga? Objection. Parang, that doesn't happen in HR. Right? That's why nga, ang desisyon ng framers, ilagay nyo yan sa elected representatives, hindi sa korte. Kasi iba naman yung sa korte. Will you use liberty Or magbabayad ka ba ng danyo, civil case, diba? So, there is a place for the Bill of Rights according to Duterte versus HOR. There is a requirement for process. There's a requirement for due process. But the impeachment process, let's not forget, the impeachment process is the process itself. So, di ba, parang I find it strange na, oh, this must be due process. The impeachment is the process itself. So, ang tinatanong ba ninyong process is like a criminal trial or even a civil trial?
You're right.
Maling framework yun.
Oo.
Maling framework yun. Kasi, sir, valid po ba? Parang ganun lang? Well, yeah. Ang tawag namin doon, administrative due process. Ang administrative due process, kaya niya magpasara ng factory. Yan yung ginagamit ng administrative agencies, which is the front line ng LTO, lahat, TTI, ERC. Administrative due process yan. I used to teach the subject kasi kaya gamay ko yan. It's a completely different approach. Rules of evidence, maluwag. Admissibility, maluwag. Lahat yan. Why? Because, again, administrative agencies are not all populated by lawyers. Karamihan dyan, mga engineers, scientists, everything.
Kasalanan niyo yung mga abogado talaga.
Yeah, kasalanan naming lahat. Kasi pinapasok mo kami sa impeachment eh. You should have kept us out. Joke lang.
Kaya
Kami
nga,
kasi,
so it's become over-judicialized, my goodness.
yeah, I mean, let's go to the, di ba? Impeachment is the process. So if you're looking for due process, well, this is the process by itself. Requesting for a subpoena, that's the process. So I find it strange that someone, oh, you're denying her due process. No, I'm availing of the process itself. That's why I'm requesting for a subpoena.
That is the defense's argument. This goes beyond due process for her. They're not arguing that impeachment is an exception to the bank secrecy law, but they're saying that this goes beyond, over and beyond due process for the vice president.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying, to
The
me,
impeachment is the process.
Impeachment is a process, and to me, that's an argument that effectively allows the Senate to issue the subpoena, but they're asking that it be a reasonable scope, narrow the scope. So it's an argument for a reasonable subpoena, not an overbroad one. Kasi parang, to be fair with the defense, they know naman what the kind of case they were given, right? I mean, so they're doing the best that they can with the cards that they were given. Every defense lawyer cannot influence what facts are nung tinanggap mo yung kaso na yan. So they're doing their best. So that's, swerte nga nila merong Duterte versus HOR. That's a good gift na magagamit mo. But in the greater context kasi, to your question, anong magandang framework dito para hindi tayo malunod sa legalities? It's really that. It's really more of akin to an HR question na, should this person remain in our company? 'Di ba? Parang okay, pag sinabi sa iyo ng cashier mo na, well, hindi naman ako nagnakaw kahapon nung hinar mo ako, pero meron akong record na magnanakaw ako bago pumasok dito. What do you do? Parang gano'n, di ba?
Yeah,
So,
any
That's a good way of putting
company,
it.
any company would let that employee go because it's a question of, well, not naman any company, but most
Fitness.
companies I know would let the employee go, or even sa hiring process pa lang, hindi na mapapili because it's a tarnish on your record
It's a question of fitness to
and integrity.
sustain a position.
agree. So, yun yung konteksto talaga ng impeachment, di ba? Parang, hindi siya yung parang, okay, lilitisin ka namin kasi ikukulong ka namin or
Yes, sir.
parang magbayad ka ng danyos. Tinatanong lang naman sa taong bayan, this person, no? Sa tingin nyo ba, maganda yung tanong ni Senator Judge Tito Soto, di ba? Ang pending sa atin, hindi naman yung grave threats or sedition. Betrayal of public trust lang naman pinag-uusapan natin dito, di ba? Kasi nalilito ako. May ganun siyang tinanong. So I think magandang ano yun para ma-recenter kung ano yung inquiry.
Sir, allow me to reframe the question. So, for example, in Article 4, itong grave threats issue, how should we look at it? What are we looking for? What is the critical question that we should be asking? Is it were grave threats issued, and does the prosecution have to prove that there were grave threats issued, or is there another way of looking at it na mas practical at na mas
Well-
substantial, tangible?
Well, I think the way that here's how I would answer that question. It's the way every citizen should answer that question is by asking themselves honestly, di ba? Is it normal for us to receive
For a vice
threats
president.
to a sitting president by any person? What do we do when these threats happen? And then, is it also acceptable for us if these threats come from a person in high office, especially a person who would directly benefit if the president gets killed? And third, knowing that that person already made those threats, do you think that person should be allowed to stay in office? As a citizen, pag-isipan natin yon na normal ba yon? Dapat ganun ba? Kasi kung ang sagot doon is okay lang, well then, moving forward, each vice president would have a license to do that. Diba? Kasi ganun yung conversation na to eh. Hindi whether or not did she act on the threat, meron bang sedition, parang ano yun, those are different crimes.
Yeah.
Those are different crimes.
As Ami keeps pointing out as well, meron naman under Article 282 of the Revised Penal Code, there's already a very clear definition
Oo
of
nga.
grave threats there. So,
nga.
si Ami galit na galit last week kasi pinagdedebatehan pa sa Senado when, in fact, in the law, there's already something there.
Yeah, medyo yun nga, parang sa akin naman as a teacher, parang if you're saying na you have to act on something after threatening to do it, then it becomes a different crime.
Hindi
Becomes
iba na
murder.
crime yan.
Hindi na threat yun. No. The threat by itself kasi is punishable under the revised penal code. But then again, hindi naman din to litigation regarding grave threats. It's about betrayal of public trust
Yeah.
by having a high government official saying that I'm gonna kill you.
Pero sa tingin nyo, Professor, considering the culture in our country, considering the situation na we voted Rodrigo Duterte by a landslide to become president and he retired with one of the highest approval ratings. Yan yung kultura, yan yung sinasabi ng mga supporter nila. Eh normal lang naman yung pinagsasabi ni Vice President eh. Si President Duterte nga, mas malala pa sinabi dyan eh. Wala namang
Walang
ginawang
umalma.
criminal ano sa kanya. or
Maraming
whatever.
pumalakpak.
I mean, yun ang sinasabi nila. Normal lang naman yung sinabi niyan eh. Ano bang masama dyan? Anong masasabi niyo pag ganon yung argument?
Well, unang-una pag tinanggap ko yan, edi ibig sabihin, babagsak yung argument nila about due process. Kasi yung argument of due process loses its strength if willing naman pala kayong lahat na i-validate yung mga ginawa ni President Duterte na pumapatay ng tao nang walang due process. Right? So, magko-collapse yung argument niyo on due process. Kasi parang buhay, pwede mong kitilin ng walang due process, pero bank account, di mo man lang mabuksan. Parang, ba't ganon? Parang, that's the first na ang marirealize ko doon. Parang, teka muna. Tapos pangalawa, kung mahina yung ebidensya, ba't nyo hinaharang? Mahina naman pala, di ba? Second, the culture thing. Naniniwala kasi ako na ang Pilipino hindi naman ganon. Maaring may segment ng Pilipino na willing i-sacrifice ang buhay ng kapitbahay niya. 'Di ba? Pero naniniwala ako na majority naman ng mga Pilipino hindi ganoon. Na parang okay, for my personal security, okay lang mamatay si Reg kahit walang due process. I don't think that's where we are right now. There might be a segment willing to vote for that, but I'm also quite aware that it's also a vote of anger at the system itself. It's frustration. And what President Duterte did in 2016 was precisely to capitalize on the frustration of so many Filipinos at the system itself. He's very good in weaponizing the frustration of Filipinos. So, for me, it's a long project for our current set of leaders to actually understand why Filipinos are so frustrated. And they have to be able to rechannel that frustration so that it doesn't go to someone who's gonna say, I'm willing to kill people and this is normal.
Yeah.
Because it's not normal. It's not normal.
And we are not all like that. Thank you so much. That's a very nice way to put it. We'll end there. Thank you so much for talking to us and explaining all of that. UP Constitutional Law Professor, Attorney John Molo. Salamat, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Professor.